So, what really separates a winning trader from a losing one? It's not just about the wins. Today, we're going to break down a professional mindset for handling adversity. It's called Best Loser Wins. And it's all about what you do in that critical moment right after you take a massive hit. You've seen it, right? Scrolling through social media, it's all flashy posts and perfect track records, a constant stream of success. But you gotta ask yourself, is that real? Like, really real? What happens when things go wrong? Because let's be honest, in the real world of trading, things always go wrong. So the trader whose experience we're gonna follow today, a guy named Tom, he really pushes back against this whole outcome-obsessed culture. He says he's not interested in the spa trip after a big win. He wants to see the messy middle. He wants to see the process. Because he argues that the real secret, the thing that actually matters, isn't the vacation photo. It's how a trader navigates the chaos, especially when they're losing. And that, right there, brings us to the core idea of this whole explainer, the absolute critical importance of focusing on your process, not just the dollar amount at the end of the day. Okay, so look at this. The difference is just night and day, right? On one side, you have the losing trader. They're totally hooked on the adrenaline rush, the excitement, the money. They're out there chasing wins, trying to hit that one home run. But the professional, it's a completely different world. Their focus is on a repeatable process and keeping their cool. And their main job isn't even chasing wins. It's expertly managing their losses. So this all leads to this incredible philosophy. Best loser wins. And yeah, you heard that right. It completely flips the script. The goal isn't to be the best winner. It's to be the best loser. The idea is that by mastering how to avoid those catastrophic mistakes that wipe most people out, you almost accidentally end up in that small winning minority. Now, to really get this, we're not just going to talk theory, we're going to walk through a real trading session, play by play. And like any good story, this one starts out looking great. It begins with a clean morning win. So the day starts out just picture perfect. Tom sees a textbook setup on the UK market, and he goes long. Now, as the trade starts moving his way, he does what the pros do. He adds to his winning position, not once, but twice. The result? A beautiful, clean execution and a really nice profit in the bank before the market even officially opens. Everything is calm, controlled, and going exactly to plan. But we all know how this goes, don't we? The market can turn on you in a heartbeat, and right on the heels of that perfect win comes the sucker punch. All of a sudden, a brutal, sharp drop in the market baits him in. He jumps in short, thinking the floor is about to fall out, but then it reverses. And this is where he makes a classic critical error. He adds to a losing position, basically doubling down on a mistake. Of course, it doesn't turn around. He gets stopped out for a huge, frustrating loss. And just like that, the morning's profits are gone, and he's suddenly deep in the red. Okay, let's just pause right here. Put yourself in that chair for a second. You are feeling emotional. You just took a big financial hit, and you broke one of your cardinal rules. So, what's your next move? Do you try to make it all back in one trade? Do you just walk away? What do you actually do? Well, this right here, this is the moment that separates the pros from the amateurs. This is where you have to stop, take a breath, and execute the most important process of all. We're going to look at how to flip the switch. So flipping the switch, it's this deliberate act of shifting your brain. You're moving yourself from that place of fear and anger and that urge for revenge back to being calm, detached, and logical. And notice the key word I use there. It's not just a mental trick. It's a mechanical process. It has concrete, physical steps you can take. And the mechanics are actually pretty simple, but they are incredibly powerful. It all comes down to 3 clear, actionable steps you need to take to get back in control. Let's break them down. First up, you zoom out. After that sucker punch, Tom was staring at this super chaotic, noisy 5-minute chart. It's just overwhelming. So the first mechanical step is to literally switch to a longer time frame, in his case, a 15-minute chart. This immediately smooths out all that noise. It gives you a much clearer picture of what's really going on, and it physically helps calm your mind down. Step 2, and honestly, this one is everything. You have to reduce your size. Your gut instinct is screaming at you to trade bigger to win the money back fast. The professional does the exact opposite. By cutting your stake way down, you take all that financial pressure off the table. Suddenly, the goal isn't to make money anymore. The goal is simply to execute your next step perfectly. And to put a real number on that for you, Tom's normal trading size can go all the way up to 3,000 pounds per point. But on the very next trade after that big loss, he cut it down to 1,200. He more than halved his risk, and in doing so, he shifted his entire focus from the money back to the process. And the last piece of the puzzle? Patience. You just wait. Instead of impulsively jumping back in for revenge, you wait for a really high probability setup on that new, longer time frame. In this case, Tom waited for a full 15-minute candle to close below the prior ones, confirming the trend, before he even thought about making a move. No more guessing, no more hoping, just disciplined patience. Okay, so what's the big takeaway here? What's the moral of this whole story? Let's pull together all the crucial lessons we can learn from this incredible example of professional resilience. All right, what do you really need to remember? First, your process is just everything. It's more important than any single win or loss. Second, after a big hit, your absolute number one job is to get your head straight. And you do that with mechanical changes. Zoom out and cut your size. You have to understand that fear is gonna show up. That's inevitable. The real skill is in how you manage it. And finally, you have to shift your focus away from the money and become obsessed with just one thing, executing the very next step perfectly. And this final quote from Tom just brings it all home. I mean, think about it. At his lowest point, he was down 58,000 pounds. That's an amount that would make most people just completely panic. But his focus wasn't on that staggering number. It was on the process. Focus on the next bar. Focus on the next bar. That singular, intense focus is the true hallmark of a pro. So let me leave you with this question, because this isn't just about trading, is it? Whether it's your job, your fitness goals, learning a new skill, where are you so focused on the final result that you're forgetting to master the steps to get there? Where in your life could you maybe flip the switch and just focus on the process? It's a really powerful question to think about.